9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Buzz, buzz, my beautiful busy bees and my WWT universe. It is your sweetest Oosh Wrestling with Honey here, and we are here for this late night edition of WWT Live as part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. It is a little late on the East Coast. I'm trying to keep my voice a little light. I'm a little tired, but I am still here just for you. Sweetest Oosh in the house with the keys to the house at the moment, and we have a few things to go over because it has been quite the week. And I will say, there's no matter where you go in life, no matter what you do, no matter how old you get, there's always one thing that is for sure: you can always come home. And boy, did we have a homecoming to remember, and we are going to get into that and all of the things. If you guys are just coming in, we'll give you all some time because we know you probably just came off of that 3-hour watch along with my WWT sister, the timeless elite Stone Cold Courtney Rice. And I said her name, so it's only right that she appears. Yes,
Yes,
Courtney
it
Rice.
is. Yes, it is. That was a nice segue you put in there.
Thank you. I'm trying to, be a little more clever with my segues these days. So I'm kind of stepping the game up a bit, and I actually like that too.
I did.
How are you this evening, Courtney? How was your watch along? I know we're going to get into all things AEW, but we're going to give some time to process. But overall, did you enjoy your watch along? How has your week been so far?
I will say the watch along has been great. If you know my day job, it's been very polarizing. Not just in my day job, but also in sports too, because my college team, they beat number 8, Notre Dame. But my Dolphins, they're in scrutiny right now because, well, we got a big game tomorrow against the Bills. I know everybody is thinking like, oh, this is an easy win for Buffalo, but I'm like, I don't know, because this is a situation where the Dolphins will probably get a win out of nowhere. And they're expecting, because if we lose our next 2 games at national, somebody is going to get fired.
I'm crossing my fingers just for you, sis, because I did hear about that when I was watching ESPN this morning. I was like, oh, no, not Mike McDaniel. Oh,
it's a possibility. No. I mean, yeah, and it's funny they mention him, but they don't mention our general manager who's been there for 2 decades, which kind of really sucks. And it's like, but the Dolphins better play like they can play no tomorrow, because I would like for us to get a win.
At this point, they got nothing to lose, so they might as well just play hard as best as they could, We got nothing to lose. I have no reason or right to talk my stuff because, my Steelers do have some things to prove. Okay, we're 1-1. We're 1-1. Things didn't look so good. Careless mistakes were made, but we hope to learn and grow from that, because even on WWT Live and in sports and in life, it's all about growth. You know what I mean? But shout outs to everybody in the chat. Courtney, of course, thank you for joining us, especially after pulling a 3-hour watch along. My girl's doing double duty tonight, and I love it. If you guys are new here, please do not forget to let us know where you're from, what city you're repping. We'd love to be able to support you, support our supporters as well. And our super chats have been enabled, so make sure you guys are donating, commenting. $1 or more, we will highlight your comment, and we will give you some shine, and we will even make a discussion out of it. So feel free to help us keep this ship running. Support all the panelists. If you see WWT Live on any of your platforms, please make sure y'all tune in, because we got some great stuff coming down the pipeline and going on at the moment right now, like WWT Live, which is what we're going to get into tonight. And speaking of let's see, I'm not sure speaking of what, because I'm tired, but we did have some breaking news earlier today. It was announced by Nick Khan that WWE has chosen a next location for its next big PLE, and that place is Italy. WWE is going to Italy for a big PLE. Not sure which one yet. I don't know if they announced that part, but that is pretty exciting. Definitely have WWE has definitely traveled to Italy in recent years for house shows, and now I guess they're going to put that to the test along with big PLEs. Courtney, really quick, talking about this big deal going on with WWE bringing a PLE to Italy. How do you what do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? And what PLE do you think would be the first to touch down in Italy?
First off, shout outs to Sports Business for breaking out the news, because there was a lot that happened in the call earlier today where they did a joint call between WWE and ESPN promoting Sports Palooza. Oh my God, Sports WrestlePalooza. I'm sorry. You can tell it's been a long day for me. WrestlePalooza.
We're on the East Coast, y'all. In case y'all don't know, we're on the East Coast, so it's late over here.
It's very late. It really brings a lot of good opportunity for them, because they have been in Italy many times in the past, not just for house shows. They've been there for Raw. They've been there for SmackDown in between. So this is a no-brainer. I think if it was like a PLE they were going to do, I actually wouldn't mind if they did like a Clash in Italy, similar to Clash in Paris, or mind doing Backlash, because they did do Backlash in France. I wouldn't mind seeing them do like a Backlash in Italy.
Ooh, Backlash in Italy.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good on paper, and probably was a good look too. Not sure where in Italy, but we just know that is the next location of choice for WWE going forward. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. So WWE wants to pop up everywhere, just like this gentleman here who loves to pop up everywhere. And I don't believe anybody said his name, or did we?
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
Our esteemed elected official, the mayor, is in the building. What's up, my good sir?
That's a lovely introduction, honey. I appreciate that.
That's two in a row.
Of course,
that's two. That's back to back for me. I'll take a pat on the back.
Of course, where else would I rather be than CEO Wednesdays with my constituents? You know, I did have to talk to TK's boss today. I did see another unauthorized program on this network that she didn't run by the mayor, and just know that she was served her papers today in Bangladesh. So, don't know when next time you'll see the boss lady, but I talked to her boss today.
I have no words.
I don't, honestly. I really don't.
Said, since you decided to pop up on us, sometimes you got to pop out and show them, right? Can you please let us know, what do you think about this deal going on with WWE PLE now going to Italy, and which one do you think it will be?
As speaking from somebody who actually has friends that are from Italy that I went to college with, some of which go back every summer, I think that's awesome for that market. When you think about the European tour that they do every year now, and think about Italy, I mean, I know we've had Clash at the Castle, Clash at Paris. That's an obvious one that I think could go there. But if I really want to make a statement for Italy's first PLE, I would say send Money in the Bank there.
Ooh,
that's what I would nice. Because you get the big show factor around the briefcase. You get to see people who will become your eventual world champions crowned that night. I think that would do numbers.
I like that. I really do like that. I wouldn't mind. I mean, as long as they bring me Santino Marella, I don't really care what they do. You know what I mean? If that man is not hosting it or in any form of capacity in any way, if there's no kind of involvement, then we just done missed the whole damn ship. Yeah, I think that is pretty exciting. Pretty exciting news for the business, especially with the direction that they're all going in. Who knows what it's going to look like by that time, especially after this whole thing with the ESPN moving forward. So kudos and shout outs to Italy. I can't wait to see what that energy brings, what they bring in that, in that locale, depending on where they go. But we also had, we also will acknowledge, speaking of big moments, and also people making those moments, we do want to extend a, of course, condolences and continue condolences, and obviously offer a rest in peace to Mr. Bobby Heenan, who passed away 8 years ago today. And we, of course, want to acknowledge his oh my goodness, I am so tired, y'all. Forgive me. His contributions to the business. Courtney, any moments you remember of Bobby Heenan that stick out to you?
I wasn't around watching wrestling around 93, but I do remember him doing commentary, and he was really an entertaining heel. And I think it was one particular episode on Raw that they kicked him out, and he tried to do so many disguises just to get back on Monday Night Raw, but it failed. And also, of course, he has been definitely a really great influential manager during that time period. So those are a few moments I remember of Bobby the Brain Heenan, because he did pave the way for many managers during that time, because pretty much as Bosa said, if it wasn't for him, you would have not gotten that creep Don Callis, along with many others. So he really set the standard on not only being a good manager, but also really being a good heel commentator with Gorilla Monsoon.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think when I see Bobby Heenan, I think of one of the greatest heel managers of all time. I also think of Andre the Giant. I think of Mr. Perfect. I think of the moment with Mr. Perfect. I forget what it was on, but it was like Mr. Perfect like yoked him up and poured water on him and like humiliated him after he slapped Mr. Perfect. It was just one of those things that I never forgot when I watched Bobby Heenan. And he was such a great worker. He sold every second of the way, and he knew the ins and outs of everything with the business. Said, any moments of Bobby Heenan that you particularly remember?
Bobby was somebody who I watched growing up. I used to get VHS tapes. If it wasn't for this like extensive greatness we're seeing by Paul Heyman, this was somebody I'd be saying was the GOAT as far as a manager, heel manager, that is. And of course, you want to honor him in his career. You don't ever want to forget his contributions. Like, he was probably some of the best pay-per-views I've seen as far as commentary work as well. Like, not just his heel work as a manager, but him being a commentator with Gorilla Monsoon. Awesome stuff. That's the Heenan I remember watching growing up. And of course, his contributions to wrestling will never be forgotten.
You're absolutely right about that. Definitely a trailblazer in his own right. Definitely paved the way for a lot of heel managers, men and women, that you see today in the business that are currently on pretty much. Paul Heyman is now a Hall of Famer as well, I guess you could say, but there are others as well, like them, that will follow suit, and will also, I would say a lot of managers or valets or superstars back in the locker room would also vouch and say that Bobby Heenan was a lot of the reasons why they liked being a heel or liked wanting to work as a manager, but yeah, we wish all the best to his family, of course, continuously. 8 years, and it never gets easier, of course, when grieving a loved one. More to some lighter, let's do some lighter news, guys. Let's go over Monday Night Raw, shall we? Said, by the way, you did have a post show for Monday nights, did you? Or or was it a full watch along?
Okay, we'll repeat this, guys. TK's bank account is run dry. It'll never be a full watch along until she pays up. But you did get a post show.
Yes,
an elaborate post show. I spent some time with you guys, talked about the greatest of all time, talked about some of my favorite spots. I mean, I thought Monday Night Raw was a great showing for in-ring action for a change. It wasn't so storyline driven, even though we're on the go home show to WrestlePalooza. I mean, we were looking at John on screen here, and if you weren't here for the Brock Lesnar match, kind of random pairing, does he deserve one of the dates? Is he absolved of the court of public opinion, anything you want to say about Brock Lesnar, John Cena sold the match. He sold the match in that promo. And I know I did see a clip of Lance Storm saying he didn't like him still using the term Last Row Champion because it's a heel thing, but him identifying what Last Row Champion means to him, he sells you every time. And that's what a part of being in tune with the audience and what the fans want is really all about with being a WWE superstar. Like, my favorite part of the show, and I mentioned this on the post show, it's been Kyrie. And not so much like Asuka bullying Kyrie, but Kyrie's back on her game where every little detail in her emotes matters. You have to pay attention.
Yes.
Like it's perfect work that she's doing. And I wish she was getting the singles run that she deserves, things like that. But as far as like character work, Kyrie's at the top of her game right now.
Yeah, Loki, for sure. And going back to John, since we're initially starting here, if there's one thing that we all can agree on, we can definitely count on John Cena to hype up a match ahead of time before it's time to go. He could do it alone. You don't need him. You don't need Brock to show up and brawl him out again or anything like that. You don't need him to go back and forth. You just need John Cena and a microphone, and he will sell you a good 15 minutes of why this match is going to be the biggest in history, and he did just that. So with that being said, Courtney, with all of that hype behind that promo and John Cena being as good as he is and has always been, is he ready for this Brock Lesnar? Can he do it? Can he defeat the Beast again?
There shouldn't be no more questions, because if you look back on the history with Brock Lesnar, even like, I know people go back to like 2015, 2016. You got to go way back to 2002, 2003. When they first came up on the scene. Obviously, Brock was coming in with Paul Heyman. John Cena was the prototype. He was debuting against Kurt Angle. And even when they were starting to be at their prime and they were kind of the main guys, along with the SmackDown 6, they were kind of the main guys leading SmackDown. And at that time, Brock was a multi-time WWE champion. John Cena was starting to be on the rise, being one of the top guys in there. So they do have a familiarity with each other. And I think that's where I understand what some people think of like 2016, 2017, but you got to go back to some of the interactions they had like 2003, 2004, when SmackDown was right there. And even when they interacted with each other. So this is something that I'm very interested to see. And I love that John Cena did bring up that time period, because even though not many people are familiar with that period watching, that is something to be memorabilized, especially in history. And I do think with the fact is, why doesn't he get a win? I mean, it would be interesting if Brock did get the win over him, but I don't see why not, since this is his final run. And I wouldn't mind seeing him get the win, because he needs to slay the Beast.
Indeed. And there's very few that have and very few that can.
I'm gonna be honest, this cannot main event the show. It can't.
I think it is.
There's zero.
It is. I really thought the tag team match was going to be the main event.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think they announced that this is going to be.
Yeah, they did.
Slay the Beast is such a overused term because it's happened so many goddamn times already.
Well, there's only one Beast Slayer, and his name is Seth freaking Rollins in that case. But Cena at this point has to overcome this Beast once and for all in this case, because we know they've gone at it many times. So same question for you. Can he do it? Will he do it? What do you think?
I'm sorry.
It's got to be main event. It is.
I don't care. It's such an arbitrary match when I know he has 6 dates left. Let's get to the real meaning and build something towards his final match. This is just like this is literally like just a check off the chart. Like, you just want to make some money off Brock Lesnar's name real quick. Cool. Let's just get it out the way. John should win, because what does losing get him? Are we going to do the whole like, hey, I'm overcoming this big obstacle. I lost. Now what do I do? And then the next challenger comes. No, forget it. Let's John win. Who's next? Let's get over with it. And let's actually build up a storyline that makes sense with only 6 dates remaining. Because clock's ticking. It's not much you can do. This will be the first WrestlePalooza. I get that it airs on ESPN. You want it to be a big thing. But as far as this feud, however meaningless it is. I love what R-Truth did last Friday on SmackDown, but nobody cares about Cena versus Brock Lesnar in 2025. We want to know who the final match is going to be. We want to know how it's going to look. The storyline building towards that. If he's going to do something big at Survivor Series, is John going to lead a War Games team? There's so much better storylines out there, and that's what I'm waiting for, not Brock Lesnar.
If there's well, that's a great point, and I don't disagree with a lot of that. Is there any like there's obviously going to be no way that they do like a repetitive match. It's not going to be these last 6 dates are not going to be people he's fought before. It shouldn't be, at least anyway, because you don't want the same tired thing. If anything, if you're going to have him fight the same person, of course, make it nostalgic. Clearly, that's what they're trying to do with the Brock thing. They did it at a big moment, and one of the big fours. It's SummerSlam. It's, you know, it was SummerSlam at one point belonged to Brock. So I guess it was right, and that's the kind of move that they were making. If, you know, whether they tried to pivot from the whatever the hell the story is, not for nothing, you can definitely rely on the fact that you can definitely bank on the fact that John Cena is giving us a hell of a year to end.
I just thought of something. Is the final match?
Wheels are turning. What do you got?
He hasn't interacted or touched Roman this year, right?
No.
At all.
No.
At all.
Nope.
And that was a big thing when he kind of called Roman out for not carrying the company like he should when he was given all those opportunities. So now Roman is absolutely top of the company, biggest draw, things like that. I can see that being one of these next few dates.
Roman coming back and going after Cena,
or just like, if they're going to do like a one-off, you know, I can see that. I
don't think you're far off from that, only because the reason why a lot of this started is because of Cena's affiliation with the final boss, which has to do with Roman, a common denominator in that. You know, and was Cena not the one who pretty much went against them during WrestleMania 40? That was the last time we'd seen him before he came back again, you know, so that's a very interesting point for it to be Roman. I
think he respects Roman enough to give him one of these final dates too.
I definitely think so. I think John Cena has definitely stated a few times a lot of things that Roman is on his Mount Rushmore. He really, like, he has a deep respect and love for that man in a whole nother way. So I think that Roman would be a good fit for one of those last 6 dates. Courtney, anybody else that you could think of besides the tribal chief? And then we'll get into the next things for Raw.
I think outside of Roman, I want to say AJ Styles, but AJ Styles is already doing with enough stuff. It's very hard because that's been kind of teasing a little bit. And with the fact too, because AJ was another one. I mean, obviously people want to see Joe Hendry, but I would love to see him like at least face off, even like an interaction with AJ Styles. It doesn't have to be that crazy just for that, because, you know, the two of them had a very interesting rivalry. That would be fun too. Also, and this was actually something that popped in my head, because like I know one of the dates he has last, why doesn't he pop up in NXT?
And who would it be? You think, would he go at Oba, or would he go at, like, who do you see? And there's no wrong answer, of course.
That would be the only time I can see the Joe Hendry thing happening, like an interaction there. I mean, we start the year with The Rock and NXT. I don't see why he can't make not a match, but do an appearance in NXT.
Just like an appearance, doesn't have to be a match, but like interacting with like some of the people he sees as stars, like maybe Joe Hendry or Oba, or even having a one-on-one segment with Trick.
Oh, he'll kill Trick in a promo battle, but that would be very good for Trick's career.
That would be huge. I would agree with that. But we could talk here till we're blue in the face about what Cena's last dates are going to be. I mean, only time will tell, and we're just going to have to sit back and watch and see what happens, especially after WrestlePalooza. We also had the interaction between the husbands and wives. And boy, was it great to watch. I enjoy Becky and Seth together, especially this time around, more so than when they tried to force them to do it last time. This is more their alleyway. And I feel they're both better as heels as well, and they both look the part. And we saw them in them two with AJ. Well, CM. Oh, I don't know if they're calling him AJ Punk or CM Lee. Either way, it works. And they had quite the war of words, but Becky got the upper hand, of course, doing the old couple fight, pretend we're fighting and we're disagreeing, and then all of a sudden, quick cheap shot, and Becky got the upper hand on what was one of the hardest manhandle slams I've seen her do in quite some time. Like, she meant that. You know what I mean? And shout outs to AJ for selling. Councilman and I were talking about it last night, really quick before when we were doing the NXT recap. But your thoughts on this segment real quick. Excuse me, Mayor. I almost said Councilman because I was just talking about Councilman. It's 11 p.m. I'm tired, dog.
I thought this was entertaining.
Oh my God, did he freeze?
Oh my God, he did freeze.
And he freezes. This is what happens.
Oh man.
This is what happens. Well, I guess I'll pose the question to Courtney until unfreezes himself.
Unfreezes himself.
Say his name and he will freeze.
He will freeze. Just a quick few pointers regarding CM Punk and AJ. I do want to point out I did enjoy seeing CM Punk wear her shirt and let her lead with her theme song. And he said, I'm AJ's husband, even though we know who he is. But I just find that really funny. He just went along with it saying, I'm AJ's husband. And
I love it.
It was just really funny to watch because we know who he is. But it was really nice to see her talk. And also with the fact too, the interaction with them, I really thought she was going to slap Seth in the face, AJ. Well, she did, but I thought she was really going to punch him. But it was really nice to have that interaction and just kind of itching for that intergender coming back in. But I also did love that she gave a shout out at being New Jersey. She's also Puerto Rican.
A Puerto Rican girl from Jersey, ready to shank him.
So I was very happy. I was very happy she gave that shout out to her home state.
So I was so excited to hear that.
I was like, yes. So,
I mean, I don't know if everybody could see exactly what I'm seeing, but do you see that woman's core? Do you see her freaking stuff? This woman has not lost it. I can't wait to see her in the ring. And I can't wait to see them all in the ring. This match is going to be very entertaining, wildly entertaining. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing it. Because, you know, the whole, I do enjoy like the whole back and forth banter of, you know, I'm able to let my wife have the shine. You know, I'm not grasping for shine like the two of you. Like what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid to let my wife have all the shine, but not for nothing. Becky and Seth looked great coming out together. They looked so great coming out together. And it's so funny actually seeing her come out to his music, but it's kind of perfect for them. Like they might as well just keep it as that. But and the look, the matching, like I'm here for it because it's definitely gonna give that their own version of that McMahon Helmsley era, but in the Seth Becky way. Like this is the Becky Rollins era, just so y'all know.
Shout out to
but we'll see what CM Punk and AJ Lee have to say about that going forward.
And also shout out to King Troy for the outfits.
Hell yeah. Always shout out to King Troy. Always. Never misses. Now this, I mean, we had a lot of friction going on here. I'm like I said last week, I'm here for the rude and possessive Asuka. Okay, like she's the one that's been pretty much down with EO from the jump, you know, with damage control and even the Kabuki Warriors and everything like that. And, you know, but it's just at this point, Asuka's getting fed up with the fact that EO is apparently to her, EO is not doing her part and you know, too easily trusting of everyone. And not doing her part for her group, for her friends, for her day ones. And Asuka feels a little offended by that. I'm not going to say who's right or who's wrong. But Io has been on her own journey. And now she also has Stephanie Vaquer in her way. Because they're going to be next up to face you know, face off for the vacant women's championship, which of course was previously held by Naomi. Real quick, Courtney, your thoughts on this segment. What do you think could end up transpiring between Asuka and Io, or is it just a just a little spat between friends?
I'm just waiting for Io to go off so she could kick the crap out of Asuka. That's what I'm waiting for, because it's bound to happen. Because I could see Io like have her moment where she's yelling, but she's trying to keep the peace. But sooner or later, it's really gonna implode. And somewhere down the line, they are gonna have a match, because technically we are on the road to Survivor Series. I would not be shocked if Asuka did screw Io out of her match against Stephanie on Saturday. I would not be shocked if that did happen. And also with the fact too that Io's been getting a lot of success and she's embraced by the fans, and also facing off against Stephanie Vacure, because we know Stephanie has been eyeing for that title for a while. So this could be a very opportunity. And also we could see another side of Io that's aggressive and really can get down and dirty with Asuka.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's so easy to say that we're going to just split these groups up and, or just turn them against each other. I mean, I would think that we would do this with, of course, as I've said many times before, with Fraxium. I've also said this with Zaruka, but in this case with Io and Asuka, I'm not so sure. What if this is just a ploy, and what if Io does come back to the side of Asuka and understands and realize where she's coming from? I feel like Asuka, Io, and Kyrie are stronger together than they are apart, and I feel like they could do, no pun intended, a lot of damage while they're together. You know what I mean? And they could pretty much be their own version of a New Day, if you will, and just dominate the women's division. But poor Kyrie stuck in the middle of it.
Yeah, she's stuck in the middle.
But I'm always here for Asuka shouting out her name, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
It's something I'm literally genuinely looking forward to every week when Asuka comes out. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna do it. And then you see Kyrie still standing there, and you hear Kyrie. It's the best. Funny. I absolutely love it. But so great. Who's to say that maybe Io, says, Asuka, you're right, and pretty much goes ham on Stephanie and completely blacks out on her, and just gives us that Io Sky that we've been waiting for, right, Cindy? The bodysuit Io, right? Bodysuit Io. When she came out the full catsuit Io Sky, when she first turned into this crazy unhinged version of herself. Like, what if we get an unhinged version of all three of these girls because they're just fed up? I think I would like to see that too.
And they would run a rampage on Raw, because you have Stephanie, you have Rhea.
Yep.
Then you have to figure out another female who could fill in that. And I know people ain't gonna say it, but it's a possibility. It could be Nikki Bella filling that void.
I was just gonna say it would have to be Nikki Bella, being that Rhea just previously helped her, backstage with the shenanigans that could have ensued with Asuka. But we'll see what transpires with that. We also had, now this, you want to talk about unhinged, honey.
Yeah.
Unhinged.
Oof.
Just when I thought that I knew all the answers, Bailey changes the questions. And that is a shout out to the great Roddy Piper. I'm not sure I understand. I mean, I do understand the crazy route. Believe me, I love the crazy route. It's giving very much an extensive Victoria, more backstage antics, if you will, where she's talking to herself, and then some, you had poor Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria, another one that we will get into, especially for homecoming. But Lyra Valkyria, shout outs to you, ma'am. You were doing double duty this week and you killed it.
Yes, she did.
You killed it.
She did.
I will say that. You ate that. But Bailey, what are we thinking about this unhinged Bailey, Courtney? How are you feeling about this? What direction are we going in with the hugging and everything like that? And then also just spat, just not, well, I don't want to say that word. I stopped myself. But, pretty much just going off on Lyra Valkyria when Lyra was just pretty much thanking her for her help.
Oh my goodness. Well, when Bailey came out, if you notice, she wore an AJ shirt.
She did.
So that was a callback. And also with the fact too, it was nice to see a little bit of Hugger Bailey because she was hugging everybody. She was hugging Joe Tessitore. She was hugging Corey Graves.
She
Corey
knocked
Graves was
Corey's
like, get it.
headphones off.
He's
She
like, he
knocked
was like,
his headphones off.
he was like, get
She
away from
hugging
me.
fans.
Like,
She hugged the camera guy.
she hugged Alicia Taylor. So
And
it was
everybody's just giving her that look like,
it was like hugging her, but especially backstage because Lyra, she kind of knocks on the door and she heard some craziness, and Lyra was a little bit concerned. But of course, we're gonna see that with her and Bailey, seeing like how Bailey's gonna handle all these personalities. Because you said Victoria, I went a different route before. I thought like Three Faces of Foley in a way similar, but
yeah,
I'm okay with
totally.
Victoria
I can
because
see that.
the personalities. Because of course, you have the hugger Bailey. You also, when she was a heel during the pandemic, then also you have current Bailey. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to go. And I do think this will help Lyra develop her character. And she was also my pick for Breakout Star of the Year for the Slammy Awards. She was also my pick.
I also like the fact that you mentioned that she was wearing AJ's shirt. And before we get into a little bit more of his favorite horsewoman, Ced has returned from the frozen land. Are you all right, sir?
TK's Canadian government has to work a lot harder to keep me down. I'll say that.
I should not. But we were just pretty much still recapping Raw, and we're up to the topic of Bailey said. And I was just saying to Courtney, because she had mentioned at the start of her response to my question that she was wearing AJ Lee's shirt recently, which was of course a nod and a callback to when AJ wore the I'm a Hugger shirt. However, I can't help but wonder, indulge me if you will. I personally thought that it is a nod to possibly a future target. Is this something we could see in the future for Bailey, especially this version of Bailey? And what do you think about this change in her?
Whew, a nod to a future target. I don't know if that's the case. I think Bailey's character is still getting fleshed out, whatever it may be. I think I honestly I take that AJ Lee shirt as just like giving up love. I just take it as showing love. The same way Kevin Owens would wear like Naomi's shirt or other people's shirts before his feud with Cody. So I think this Bailey character has potential, and I hope they stick the landing. It kind of is erring on the side of like Three Faces of Foley, or just like Two-Face when you think of Batman, because she's morphing between the hugger and then the role model. So if anything, the first victim, I don't want to say victim, obviously she'll have her runs with Lyra. But I mean, be it as it may, I wish this was something that we saw play out more on SmackDown, because it can use more depth. But I mean, another topic we'll have to get into another day is like how SmackDown's been such a creative wasteland, and people are now calling for that job. So, but I do like what she's doing. I like it. I hope that we get more hugger merch. I think, if anything, I think the AJ Lee shirt can lean into like, hey, I'm a little bit unpredictable. I'm a little bit crazy, and showcasing that just by wearing the merchandise.
Ladies and gentlemen, crazy has always been cool. It has never left, just so y'all know. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to see this version of Bailey. It's fun to see her experimenting in a different kind of storyline for herself. It's something she's never done before. So that's something that we've discussed in previous weeks and previous shows where we, debated what could possibly be next for Bailey. And I think that Ced is frozen again. Are you frozen again? He was, and then he wasn't. Got it. So he's got a plan. He's a man with a plan.
He does have a plan, I will say.
There it is. Back up. That's what we're talking about. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to see this version of Bailey, being that we never seen this kind of character depth with her. You know, we've seen her play just a baby face and a heel. How do we take it up a notch? How do we make it different? How do we make it stand out from whatever else is going on in the show? So, and this is a good way to do it. I think the hugging part, especially after making it look like she was attacking Lyra, was definitely the way to go, because it made you go very much scratch your head like, wait, what the hell did I miss? And that's what's going to keep you invested for next week. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out for that. And then, of course, we did have some friction here. It's just a lot to even unpack in this regard, because we have LA Knight, who pretty much got himself stuck against the Bronze, and he needed to find a partner. However, you know, you would have thought that he would go with someone like Jey Uso, but we know where that ship is sailing as of right now. So what did he do? He went and asked his twin brother to be his tag team partner. Yes, that's right.
Honey, you're on mute.
Why does my mic keep doing that? I don't know. It's doing it on its own. Like, I literally press nothing and it just says your mic's been turned on. Anyway, neither here nor there. But LA Knight went ahead and instead of Jey Uso, he then chose Jimmy Uso, Big Jim, his twin brother, to be his partner. Man, I tell you, if there was any better time for Roman's advice to give to Jey, it's obviously now. Before Roman had gone off, of course, before he was demolished by the Bronze, he had stated to Jey Uso, listen, you got to keep this family together. Trust nobody if it ain't your family. And if there's one thing that Jey Uso will always do, he will always ride for his family. He's always been the right-hand man. He's always been that dude when it comes to that role in the family. So when LA Knight, do you guys think that here, I'm going to pose the question first and then we can discuss everything that happened, because there's a lot of details in it. But with LA Knight asking Big Jim to be his partner for this tag team match, what is your first initial thought if you're Jey Uso and you see this tag team actually formed? Even though Jey Uso did walk out because Jimmy made a comment saying he sounded a lot like Roman. And not for nothing, Jey, you kind of are. But was there any hope to begin with this partnership in the beginning at first, especially with the way the brothers have been colliding? Or do you think that the brothers were going to come out strong again like they always do? Courtney.
This is actually very tricky and very interesting, with the fact the Usos have a match with the Bronze this Saturday. So it's like you kind of have this to deal with as well, because we already saw a week prior Jey beating up LA Knight. And then we saw the confrontation they had when they kicked off Raw. So there's still a lot of unpacking with that as well. I do think there is a lot of deeper dive into this, because there's just a lot more questions than answers on where this is going to go. And especially with the fact too, I could see like both Bronze taking advantage of this, since they're kind of in a conflict. We're supposed to be with them, but they're kind of conflicting with each other, which also that does add another layer to it. And with the fact too, if he didn't get Big Jim as a partner, who else was he going to get as his partner? Who else was LA Knight going to get for his partner? That would be the question. But yeah, when Big Jim told Jey that he started to act like Roman and didn't have the Ula Fala, wasn't wearing it. Yeah, that
kind of took that to heart. It looked like, you know, it kind of took that to heart. Said, I'm going to pose this question to you: are we going back to the basics with the Usos? Is this going to lead back into the family over everything?
I don't think it has to lead to like so abruptly. I think we're going to get probably an extended, well, maybe not extended, but a mini Usos run for a minute. I think the tea leaves here with Jimmy. I think we're leaning more into like the Jimmy, like, I'm nobody's bitch era type thing. And then Jey kind of pulling back the reins a little bit, because we're definitely not going back to like Uso versus Uso again. That is not happening. So I think they'll be able to rein it in as a team, and Jay might realize he has to ease up a little bit for them to actually take down the Bronze, and you'll see just more of a power struggle between Jay and LA Knight versus to see who can actually take down the division first. And on the road to that, you'll get Yeet versus But for me, I think there's just too much money in Jay Uso to go straight into like complete tribal chief mode. Too much money in the merchandise, the colorways, things like that, to kind of like just go complete 180.
Yeah,
and they're both in the same damn Slim Jim commercial. You're not fooling me.
They're both in the same Slim Jim.
That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
That is hilarious.
That is so true, and that is so funny. But real quick, guys, because it is now getting later, and we do want to cover one last thing, which of course, well, two last things, because of course Courtney's going to give us a recap of AEW. Let's get into the reason why the show title exists the way it does. It was a homecoming to remember last night, y'all. And it was quite wonderful. I felt right at home. Of course, when you see DX on the screen, a lot, of course, not so much, a more mature and older DX. Man, listen, there was a post that somebody put last night, and I couldn't have agreed more, because I definitely told Will this last night for his post show. We did a quick NXT recap, but I was like, I remember NXT when Triple H had hair. Okay, that's how long we've been watching NXT. Okay.
Wow.
2015, and Seth Rollins, formerly known as Tyler Black, has bleach hair on one side, black hair on the other, just winning the NXT title. That's how long I've been watching NXT. So that's a whole nother level. But to see it open up with DX, and shout outs to whoever caught the clip of Shawn Michaels dancing to Charlotte Flair's entrance, because that video has lived rent free in my mind all day. He still got the hips, you know. He still got the hips.
He gonna have the knees real soon too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Saudi Mania.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, cut it out.
Goodness.
Cut it out.
Listen. If Shawn Michaels performing in Saudi Mania, I'll pay the ticket.
Oh my God.
He's not doing that.
I will pay the fee.
No, he's not.
These men are fine where they're at, clearly. And of course, just when things were getting a little tense between the two, because it's always nice to see a little friendly competition amongst DX, there's always a bigger dog and a more experienced, better man than you. And William Regal showed up as well. So you couldn't be any more at home in NXT on Full Sail, because the energy, and I was telling Will about this last night as well, the energy in Full Sail was through the roof, and it's just something different about that NXT vibe, that old school feel, even from the nostalgia of their intro song being the original intro song they've had, everybody using their own original theme songs, except of course Sean Spears and Rhea Ripley, which was kind of I wouldn't have minded hearing "This Is My Brutality" like the original, but I get it. It's mommy, and that's mommy's house. I'm not telling her what to do. So, but we saw William Regal. We open up, of course, with the women, and I want to get your thoughts on this part, guys. But Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss had an amazing match to start off against the Cullings, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley, which I thought was pretty much a match made technically in heaven or hell, depending on your perspective. And I thought the women absolutely killed it. But I want to get into what happened before they even fought. The fact that these women came out and acknowledged all of the women from NXT. Mentioning the likes of Paige, mentioning Sasha Banks, even Ember Moon. What did you guys think of that moment when that happened, Courtney?
That was really cool. And I also want to throw in, they also mentioned Carmella too, which I thought that was really awesome to do. And all of them giving a standing ovation and really acknowledging the pre-women's evolution, obviously, with Paige, and also I'm throwing in Emma too as well, because the two of them did start it when it was like the pre-women's evolution.
Oh
And it was
yes.
just nice seeing that nostalgic history. And I did like the intro, the throwback intro that they did with the old NXT theme. That was really hard to see. But I did love that they acknowledged all the women. Like, they didn't exclude anybody. They didn't like snob it off. They included everybody that was a part of that.
I will say that an honorable mention I would have liked to hear would have been the Iconics.
Oh yes.
And
Undisputed Era.
they did not mention. Well, is it true that Shawn Michaels had a picture of them on his desk?
Oh,
Maybe.
I would have to go back and
I know.
I saw a post or something like that. I could be wrong.
I know one of the members of the Iconics posted something on Twitter yesterday.
And you know who they did not. You know who they didn't mention. And I'm surprised Will didn't even bring this up last night. They did not mention Mandy Rose.
And she had everything to say about it today.
Oh, she sure did.
So
and I'm just you know what, that right there tells you, it's like, girl, you didn't have to do that. Like, I respect Mandy Rose, and I love Mandy Rose, and I enjoyed what she brought. However, girl, if it ain't bothering you that much, WWE or anything related to NXT should not be coming out of your lips or in your TikToks. I'm just saying, if it ain't bothering you that much, it's because that's what it gave. It gave, oh, I wasn't invited. Oh, I don't care. But you really do if you're making a whole video about it. So you do care. So it make it make sense, honey. I know you're making dollars, but make it make sense. Just want to get that out the way. But that was an amazing opening for the women. And of course, we do know the women were the backbone of NXT and what kicked off the women's revolution and the women's division that you know and love and see it today, folks. So take note. And if you really want to watch the origin story of this women's division, watch these black and gold NXT years, because they were prime time weekly must-see TV every week. And this night was giving big fight feel. You had all ego Ethan Page defending his North American title against Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty. I'm like, what year is it? The man doesn't age. He's aging backwards somehow. And that selfie stick, I'm surprised it's still maintained all its fur. Okay, because the selfie, I don't even know who has a selfie stick anymore. Does anybody carry a selfie stick anymore? Do you guys? I don't know. I haven't, but it was quite fun. That was a fun match. Of course, had a Grayson Waller effect, and with Ricky Saints and Obafemi as the special guests. Obafemi, absolutely, I'm sorry, Ricky, but he completely sunned you on that mic. I'm sorry, sir. And you came back good, you came back strong with it, but Oba had you. He could, that because that whole segment could have ended right there for me personally. But real quick, I want to get y'all thoughts. Seth, what did you think of this segment? And is Ricky Saint ready to be the guy? Can he do it? And of course, we're not including what happened after this just yet.
Yeah, that's where my mind was going. I didn't think Ricky had much at stake to become champion just yet, just because there's still so much in NXT he needs to accomplish. And I'm just saying, like, just more FaceTime, like more backstage promos, more memorable moments. It kind of just feels like let's live in a world where Ricky does get crowned, becomes champion, has that stint. It doesn't feel like the crowning that, it wouldn't feel like, to me at least, the crowning that Julia or Stephanie got earlier this year, where it's like, hey, we hot shotted them to the top and they were just the brand for this period of time. To me, it would feel like how Ricochet's stint in NXT was, where it's like, hey, big shiny new toy, has some moments, doesn't really do much here, and now he's gone.
Right.
So I think for this brand, what Oba said was kind of accurate. Like, Ricky Saints being in NXT should be a way bigger deal than what it is. But I think we know he is destined for the main roster sooner rather than later. He's an already made product. But the production here in NXT, because NXT has the best production of the entire week in WWE, should be presenting him as this larger-than-life character. He should be on the mic more on TV. And unfortunately, for the men's division, there's just not that much time. The women are carrying the show still. There's better storylines, better programming, better matches. So they got to do something quick if they want to build Ricky into the star that he can be. If not, you're going to have an even bigger uphill climb on main roster. And that's when you will get saddled with Cody, and other stars and things like that, just to kind of earn your way up.
Indeed. Good point. Well made. We also had other NXT alumni showing up, giving the young ones the rub. We had Damian Priest appearing for Tavion Heights.
Damian was there for one reason only, and I don't have to say it, but y'all know it. Like I know it.
You cut it out.
My God.
Here we go.
That man was happy to be backstage with you know who.
At least I just take it as him being supportive of the entire roster, including the someone.
He gave one of those entire rosters a more welcoming hug at the end of the show too. I don't know if I don't know. I don't want to get in the weeds there, but if you know, you know.
Oh Jesus Lord! But that, then we also had Sami Zayn appear on pretty much in the one-on-one conversation with Javon Evans when Javon Evans was pretty much at the end of his rope here in NXT and wants to get his hands on. I forget who he was just trying to attack now because it's just completely
Josh Briggs.
Yes, Josh Briggs. And by the way, Josh Briggs, don't ever wear those glasses while you're wearing this outfit. It just did like that didn't make you look heelish at all. You had the right to get almost knocked out by Javon Evans, but you're lucky Sami Zayn was there. However, I can't say the councilman was as enthused about this segment as I was. I did enjoy this segment, and Sami did bring it for Javon, gave him that rub. However, Councilman has clearly stated that he does not want Sami's midness rubbing off on Javon Evans' young OG-ness anywhere. And I would happen to agree with that. Don't need to give him that United States rub. We want the main roster rub for the main title.
Yeah, y'all gonna be here when this man becomes champion next year.
Well, listen, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm just saying, if anything, why are we waiting so long to get
this is your 2026 Royal Rumble winner. It's your 2026 Royal Rumble.
I would not be shocked if that happened.
I wouldn't either, honestly.
Because there's no way he ain't getting it in 2027.
Sami gonna walk in Saudi Arabia like he do with the respectful garb.
Oh dear God!
At whatever number he come out as, that's your Royal Rumble winner. Book it.
Oh man.
Well, he's probably going to be the second and last, and then lose, and that'll piss off everyone. We could do that, but then again, I'm also an agent of chaos, like Heath Ledger's Joker. But I digress. Then we also had a tag team match with not Mello Don't Miz, but we had Trick Willie and Mello back in action together on the same page, going against the NXT Veterans DIY. And we didn't get just any DIY. We got No One Will Survive, Psycho Killer Ciampa, Black and Gold repping Ciampa, though it's not the same because it's not the beard. We need the beard and gold. We need that.
What's crazy? I thought he grew his beard back. Did he shave it again?
I think he did.
I think he did.
It was like it wasn't fully out there, but it was growing back decent enough. I wonder why he shaved it again.
I'm not sure why either, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But we not only we got that, we also got Rebel Heart, Johnny Gargano,
the real Rebel Heart too, not that
the original Rebel Heart
garbage
music. Yeah, not the dark one, the original Rebel Heart, North American title winning, long reign running Johnny Gargano, and that was really, really awesome to see. All four men put on a great showing in the evening. Of course, I was not expecting Miz to show up, and I don't know why I didn't even think of that. I mean, who else to be there for homecoming at NXT? I also didn't get a graphic for them, but I do want to give an honorary mention to the EST and Montez Ford, because y'all was looking like money last night. Okay, just saying. And Montez putting over Dark State, very, very interesting. I really like that. But yeah, Mello Don't Miz or Miz Don't Mello, because you see the look in Trick's eyes, and I can't help but wonder, is this going to be the possible direction we go? But just as I was questioning that, we get into this gentleman. Now, before we get into who actually came out, because we all know who came out at this point, right? Those lights went off. Who did you think was going to come out? I asked this to Councilman the same way last night, so I'm going to ask you guys as well. Courtney, you first.
Who did I
think it was?
Miles Bourne. I really thought it was Miles Bourne.
Oh, with the lights out and everything.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Because you know,
that's what I mean. When the lights went out, who did you really think it was? Like, who did you want it to be?
Man, That's very hard to say. Would you want to be when the lights go out? Shoot, I don't even want to be that long. I guess I'm just gonna say it for shits and giggles. I would probably say R-Truth, just for giggles.
You know what? I'll back you on that. There's relevance to that because before R-Truth got hurt in the Grayson Waller match, he was doing a stint in NXT. So it would be interesting to see him not finish that up, but just have a moment. Like for me, if the lights go out, and I'm happy we got Finn, but like when the lights go out, I'm straight thinking Shinsuke or Bobby Roode.
See,
like,
so
didn't get Shinsuke back.
My initial thought was Shinsuke because I was ready to hear the violins. I was ready to go.
Everybody else getting their old theme back. They could have did the thing right there.
It was either Shinsuke for me, or it was either Aleister Black,
Aleister Black,
or it could have been because we saw Damian Priest out there. But then again, it would have made sense for Lexis King. And I said this as a fantasy way. If I'm writing this up, I'm bringing Cross for this moment, just cause.
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Like, why not? But we know who came out afterwards, and they can't have a homecoming king. We didn't have a homecoming king or queen, but we did have a homecoming prince, and it was phenomenal. No Judgment Day, no purple. It was given Finn freaking Balor, king of NXT, one of the greatest champions in NXT, in my opinion. Definitely on my Mount Rushmore of NXT, and Councilman and I were talking about discussing that as maybe a future debate on future episodes. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of NXT? But what did you guys think of this moment with Finn Balor? Was it nostalgic, or do you think he's going to keep it this way, or was this just the one-off for the homecoming episode set?
It was just a one-off, and it was just a feel-good moment for not only the fans, but I think Finn needed that too. He was looking in the camera saying that felt good. So, it's been a long time since he's been able to portray himself as that. So, I mean, really good feel-good moment. I think they nailed this, of course, but maybe somewhere down the road, past when we get, I don't think we'll ever be done with the Judgment Day. I'm just going to be pessimistic there. But if Finn gets kicked out the Judgment Day, we can go back to the good old days. But this was just like a one-off. And I think him returning to this version of himself was a good moment.
Indeed. Courtney, what did you think about the return of the prince?
No questions about it. I always love seeing Finn come back, and it was definitely a flashback for me because I remembered him winning when he faced off against Kevin Owens in that NXT championship match, in that ladder match. So it was definitely nostalgic. I'm gonna go the other route because we didn't talk about Raw, but Finn, actually I say Dom, you just pissed off Finn, because I'm going to tell you something. El Grande is going to be the catalyst for the Judgment Day, because if you saw the look on Finn's face,
I got one better.
You think Big Grande scared of the Judgment Day? Big Grande got shooters.
Big Grande got backup, and Big Grande is working with the backup and Dominic Mysterio, because they're going to do their own thing. I'm telling you right now.
Because if you saw Finn's face,
King of the Luchadors, Kello, it writes itself.
Roxanne and Raquel coming too.
No, just Roxanne.
They're coming too.
No, just Roxanne. Just Roxanne's going.
Raquel and Roxy like this now.
I don't think so.
That's
no, she's waiting for Liv.
I'm still not buying it. I feel like
we've done the Liv Raquel thing so many times already. I think it's time for like an amicable split, especially since Raquel has rediscovered herself.
Well, I feel either that or because I don't know, Roxanne and Finn give each other these weird looks sometimes when Dom talks, and I can't trust that. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what's cooking over there in Prodigyville, but we're gonna have to ask the councilman. On
you know
his
what's
own
funny?
I got questions.
I wish I can give credit to the commenter on Monday, but when I was speculating on the multiple Big Grandes, somebody said he bets that it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and I was like, that's a really good guess, because they're still a tag team, haven't been on programming except main event, and they have ties with Kaiser dating back to NXT UK. So Oh, see
That's
it.
true. That is very true. Well, you know who else could have? It could have been. I mean, even though he is injured, if he wasn't injured, it could have been him to appear for Lexus King. Could imagine Gunther
Oh my goodness. Or
with the
Ilya
Walter
Dragunov.
music. That would have made everybody lose their minds. I think.
I was gonna say
Ilya Dragunov's coming for
Yeah.
who they say he coming for?
Oh, AJ.
Wasn't eight? No, I heard Rusev.
Oh, I heard AJ Styles because apparently Rusev is coming for Dominic Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm here for that too. I think Rusev's doing. I think there was I forget who interviewed Rusev. I don't know if it was like one of the ESPNs or other outlets, but he said he's here to really help teach the younger roster how to portray themselves as characters and help get them over. Like he did the quiet stint with Oba. Now he's going to work with Dom. I think that's great. If Rusev does more of that, I think we'll be able to, like, because you automatically believe in the threat of Rusev with whoever he's facing. So seeing him with more younger talent, whoever it may be, will help kind of, since we're in this orbit at the top with all these different gimmicks and characters, kind of this glass ceiling, I think you'll have better storylines in the mid card for the men's division.
Indeed. And then, of course, we ended with our most popular girls in the school match. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but it was
Honey.
Why is my doing that? I don't know.
It got muted this time because this picture looks kind of lonely. Something's missing from it. Like my go home image had a fourth woman in this picture.
Oh Lord!
One that was bumping hips
to Rhea's music. I can't deal, but
it was still on beat.
It was on beat. It was on beat. She's Latina. She has rhythm. That's natural. Like, duh. I'm not gonna bash another Latina now. But Lola was involved in the win for these three women. Tiffany Stratton was supposed to have been the third woman instead of Lyra Valkyria. However, Lyra Valkyria came in her place due to not being medically cleared after that very bad landing she took on SmackDown after doing that moonsault outside with her match with Jade. But nonetheless, of course, we wish Tiffany a speedy recovery. Lyra, you did your thing. I will give you that. You did your thing this whole week entirely, girl. So you deserve your flowers for that. This match was very good. It was a lot of fun to watch. These girls took on Fatal Influence, and not for nothing, I said this to Councilman last night as well. But Fatal Influence, I think last night was probably one of their best performances that I've ever seen of them all together collectively as a unit. They were on point. They were maintaining and staying on top of these women, because these are the top women right now in the main roster and future top women in the main roster. So, to be able to dish it out as well as take it, like they're getting ready for the main roster themselves, absolutely killed it. I enjoyed the match. It was so much fun. Lola Vice, of course, making another way for the win for all the four women and get the upper hand, because we know she's vying for that women's championship. And I will be I will be happy for her. I will be.
Am I doing it right?
Oh my goodness!
It's either this one or this one. It don't matter. It's any one of those. But that's hilarious. I need just that clip of just that, just to make that a mood, a GIF or something. But that's hilarious. I will say that aside from all the great things that we saw, of course we have stated from the beginning of this NXT recap that the women were the backbone of this division. However, there is another honorable mention I would love to bring up, and she goes by the name of Shayna Baszler. My Queen of Spades made her appearance. That made me very happy. I will definitely say I shook my apartment because I screamed. I literally screamed, and Patchy was like, "Shh, it's late. It's a little late." And you remember, you're not watching it live. It's a little late. I was like, I'm sorry, but I was just so excited because I was not ready for it. But man, listen, yeah, exactly, Jeffrey. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. Just be happy for me. Just be happy that I had that moment.
Oh,
so
I didn't.
That's all I will say.
Okay,
we also got to see Lyra, and we also got to see Lyra and Tatum Paxley reunite for a little bit.
Oh yes, the reunited friendship.
That was low
feels
key.
So good.
This wasn't like a planned moment like most of the night, but when Charlotte went to Sean Spears and said, "How about I give it a 10?" Pop. That was great.
Funny.
I missed that. I didn't see him do that.
He was like, "Don't you do that? Don't you do that?"
That's hilarious. That's so great.
Shout out to Ty Dillinger.
And then just when we thought it was going to end there, we saw a segment backstage in Ava's office, and Councilman and I both agree that she's going to need to beef up for extra security in these upcoming weeks, because it's now been made official. There's going to be a lot of chaos going on with Obafemi and Trick Williams, because now they are going to be fighting for the title winner takes all, and the winner will then go against Ricky Saint. Next up, what is happening here? Who's winning? Who do you got? Said go.
I'm going to be very blunt with this. We don't need any more double champions this year. Let's not hold up any more of the division. I think Ricky should get involved inadvertently, and we have a disqualification in the match. Maybe that sets up a triple threat at No Mercy. I don't think you need that. I really don't. I think Trick has to keep this title and lose it to Mike Santana. Like, he has to. We don't need to crown a double champion, because either way, you're hurting one of the other guys, whether it's Oba or Trick.
Yes, you're right. In a lot of ways you are. But since you mentioned and brought it up, said Mike Santana was one of the many TNA superstars on the roster that was tweeting the hell out of their phones or whatever the hell they do, tweeting on Twitter. I don't know, or on X. I'm not sure what you call it when you're doing it on X, but whatever. There was a lot of TNA
superstars. Weird too. Like, I don't know why they were complaining about TNA representation at NXT Homecoming.
I think what's happening here is that we're dealing with a not a mutiny of sorts, but we're going to be dealing with another invasion. And in this case, I feel like we can get TNA invading NXT, because
can we get War Games?
That's what Regal said. War Games.
I would love it.
When Regal said War Games, I was thinking like Triple H bring his team, Shawn Michaels bring his NXT best, and War Games. I don't think they would do that. I think it would be fun to go back to that type of like Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT Survivor Series. But if you can do a TNA, it sounds like Worlds Collide again, but if you can do a TNA versus NXT War Games, that'd be awesome.
I want everybody to look at Bose's comment, and it says Invasion TNA versus NXT for Halloween Havoc. Now read that sentence. That's a mouthful, because then you're not only you have TNA invading NXT on its platform, on its channel, on a PLE title that was created from WCW. That's an immense, insane sentence to say out loud. So with all of that being said, Courtney, is that what we're gearing up for? Do you see War Games, or do you just see complete invasion and havoc?
I'm not going to rule out War Games, but I do see a possible invasion, because a lot of TNA stars tweeted, from Mike Santana to Steve Macklin to Ash by Elegance, a lot of them. And I know people are jumping ahead to NXT. I would also be mindful of TNA on Thursday, because I think a lot of times, I know people don't watch TNA on a weekly basis, but also making sure you watch it. And with the fact too, a winner take all match for NXT on Tuesday, yeah, there could be a lot of smell for a lot of shenanigans that will be taking place, because obviously you have No Mercy around the corner. And also with the fact too, it kind of does with the winner take all will hurt, because I kept thinking of Mike Santana, and it's like, okay, he has to get the TNA title because Bound for Glory is next month, and we have to deal with Ricky. So there's going to be many layers to this. I'm not going to rule out War Games just yet, but I do see an invasion happening. But if you really want to do it, and this is just me saying it out loud, if you really want that invasion to happen, not just on NXT, I wouldn't mind having an invasion at No Mercy.
Indeed, it could already start kicking it off there, and there will be No Mercy possibly. But I will also want to add,
this is in Florida.
Yes,
if Mike Santana leads the charge in Florida.
Yep, and also I will add what Jeffrey said here: the women were also tweeting as well.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's safe. But I'm here for it. I'm here for shenanigans left and right and chaos, as I said.
I'll be damned if TNA women cost my client the title at No
Oh my
Mercy. I'll tell you
goodness.
that. Especially if I
Lord.
am in the building.
Oh Lord.
Well, I would hate for you to have to go through all of that just to see her lose, but I would pay big money just to sit there and see your face if that were to happen. That I will do. But moving on really quick. Let's just go to a quick commercial break before Courtney does her AEW recap. She had a 3-hour watch along tonight, a lot going on. And since we were pretty much at the beginning of this, pretty much explaining how women's wrestling continues to run it, support Women's Wrestling Archive, y'all.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches January 1st, 2026, and it's gonna pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
It's womenswrestlingarchive.com. We must preserve women's herstory and make it a part of history, both past, present, and future, indie, regional, mainstream, doesn't matter. Support all kinds of women's wrestling as much as possible. And you can check all of that out on Women's Wrestling Archive. But now, Miss Courtney, Madame Timeless Elite, since we did have Timeless Elite Wednesdays tonight for a 3-hour watch along, I will give you the floor for today's AEW recap.
Wow. Just to let you know, they were on the final stop before All Out Toronto in London, Ontario, Canada. Special 3-hour edition of September to remember. I'm just going to go some of the key points in all this. We did kick off with a contract signing between Hangman Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher. Pretty much the stipulation is he has to wrestle the match without the help from Don Callis and the Don Callis family. But it was a really good, solid promo by the both of them. And I do see a lot of potential with Kyle Fletcher, regardless of the outcome. And I do think Kyle Fletcher could be a top key player. Also, we did get to see a few qualifying matches. Obviously, for the tag team fatal 4-way match, ladder match, we did see the Bang Bang Gang take on the Young Bucks, where the Young Bucks advanced. We saw Hechicero and Josh Alexander defeated Top Flight, and we saw Jet Speed defeating Kip Sabian and Kill Switch, where all 4 of those teams will be there. We also did kick off with Roderick Strong taking on John Moxley. And this was very interesting because we did see Kyle O'Reilly in the corner of Roderick Strong. But we also saw Daniel Garcia and Marina Shafir, who was also Roderick Strong's wife, by the way, at ringside. So they had a very interesting encounter on screen, which I thought was pretty funny. And I did enjoy that by them. But definitely a good match between Roddy and Moxley. So that's going to continue a lot. Obviously, we know Moxley and Darby Allin are going to face each other this weekend. And Darby Allin had the chance to sit down with the newest commentator for AEW, Bryan Danielson. And they talked about the match this weekend. Also with the fact too, Darby made a promise. Darby told Bryan Danielson, do not interfere in my match this weekend. But it's the American Dragon. I'd rather take that with a grain of salt because we know how the American Dragon is, but we shall see in his match this weekend. Obviously, of course, MJF has a match with Mark Briscoe. Of course, he threw a temper tantrum in Tony Khan's office, but Tony Khan actually grew a spine and yelled at MJF, which he needs to do that more. We also got to see Bobby Lashley take on Toa Liona from the Gates of Agony, where Bobby Lashley defeated him via submission, and that actually helps in the trios match between the Hurt Syndicate and the Gates of Agony and Ricochet this weekend. And also the big match that's happening this weekend, I'm still going to call them Edge and Christian face to face with FTR. And it was definitely a promo where they got to do face to face with each other, and two of the best tag team wrestlers and also influential. Obviously, there was a lot of words, but of course, a brawl broke out, and we did see Dax pretty much nose busted open, and it was real blood. We also, and I want to save this for last, Mascara Dorada defeated the Beast Mortos to advance for the AEW Unified Championship match at All Out, where he'll be competing alongside Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. And I cannot forget about the ladies, because obviously my lady of the hour, Timeless Toni Storm, had the spotlight on her, but also Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander came in ahead of their fatal four-way match. We got to see Tekla take on Queen Aminata, and those two ladies have been brewing up in a no-holds-barred match. Tekla ended up getting the victory, and after the match, Tekla, and she has been impressive the last couple of weeks, she addressed my gal Toni Storm on the microphone, and it pretty much a brawl broke out, and that is definitely going to be a fun fatal four-way match. We also know I'm just going through some pointers. Big Bill cut a promo because Eddie Kingston will be back this Saturday at All Out in Toronto.
So wow, Eddie Kingston is going to be back already?
Yeah, he's going to be back. He is back. So
why do I feel like he's back ahead of schedule?
I know. That's crazy, because I was just like, what?
Wow.
that is crazy. We also got to see Rio. We got to see Rio take it on Robin Renegade, and we saw the TBS champion Mercedes Moné doing commentary ahead of her match with Rio this weekend. Rio picked up the win against Robin Renegade, but Mercedes had the last laugh, and they're definitely going to have a match, and she's almost close on breaking Jade's record. And as I mentioned, on the final match with Hechicero and Josh Alexander, Kyle Fletcher also had the last laugh as well, where he took out Hangman Adam Page the same way he did to Kenny Omega on the second week of 2300. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up the final AEW Dynamite before they head to Toronto.
I didn't know Mercedes did commentary. Look at that.
She did commentary before, but she was going to do commentary, but she did it eyeing her opponent Rio.
I totally know that she's done it before. I just didn't think
she
would be doing it again. Like, whoa. I'm loving that. I like that for her. I will say, I don't know what kind of poem or soliloquy or whatever it was that Tony said, but my God, it was funny. I don't think I could repeat it here, but if y'all saw it, y'all know what she said, but it was hilarious. I did catch that. Tony is always something that I feel like is worth watching, because she's just simply timeless.
She is.
What, Jeffrey? I'm not being shady. I have the shades on because I'm tired.
She is. But there's a lot to this story that's going to happen, because it will be an interesting match. And we were talking about that on Friday when we do bold predictions. But she's going to be in a tough match. I mean, she doesn't have to be pinned this weekend, but I will say it does leave more to the story between her and Jamie Hayter, because people don't know they have an unorthodox story. And with the fact that when Tony was with the Outcasts, supposedly Jamie Hayter was injured, and that's how Tony got the women's title. And they have not had an interaction since, which I'm kind of happy Jamie Hayter did not win at Double or Nothing, because I want them to happen one-on-one. I would love to have it at Wembley, because Jamie Hayter never wrestled in Wembley Stadium. So I think that's something. I just think something that they could really build up and not go too crazy with it. So that's something, the two of them. I'm very happy Chris Statlander is actually getting a shot for the first time for the AEW women's title, because she was a former TBS champion. Like I said, I'm very happy Kyle Fletcher is really stepping onto his own and really taking the lead on. And also Darby Allin, I think he's going to get some help, some friends who I don't know, but he's going to be getting a lot of help from some friends.
Darby needs all the help and friends he can get. Climbing Mount Everest and doing all of this. all in 1 year. You're gonna need as much help as possible.
You're gonna need, but hey, it's Darby. But yeah, that's
right. Exactly. But thank you for that recap. Courtney, said any thoughts or words or in regards to Dynamite? Did you see it at all or anything that you feel like pointing out?
Just keep the belt warm, Tony. Just keep the belt warm.
I'm not even gonna answer that. It's late. I'm not even gonna answer.
She said it's not even worth it.
It's not even worth it.
Growth, and it's also late. And speaking of late, being up so late, getting up in the morning, usually you're going to need your coffee. And if you need a coffee that won't powerbomb your sleep schedule, Savorista's got you. It's premium craft decaf and half calf coffee, both flavor. Most importantly, no jitters. I'm like multitasking here, guys. Sorry. Made from high altitude Arabica beans, naturally decaffeinated with no harsh chemicals. Bourbon pecan decaf, minted mocha. Yeah, they're that good. So use the exclusive code that you see at the bottom of the screen there for 25% off at savorista.com. The number is 691793. Use Savorista, that's savorista.com, because of course cutting caffeine should not mean cutting flavor. All right, y'all. That pretty much comes to the end of our WWT Live late night edition. Sorry it was so late, but of course we had a 3-hour watch along and we had to accommodate Madam Timeless Elite to make sure, we get some kind of news in for y'all. And now if it's time for us to say good night, especially us on the East Coast. Timeless Elite, Madame, where can everyone find you?
The people can find me chirping sporadically on WWT Live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, do want to shout out Nigel McGuinness because he's having his first baby with his partner. So shout out to Nigel McGuinness on having his first child. Kudos to him, mate. Thank you. You're going to be a great dad, so I'm very excited for him. But the people can find me chirping sporadically Monday, Wednesday, Friday for WWT as much as I can. Well, I don't care what anybody says. Wednesday is Timeless Elite Wednesday. The only way you could take it is if Tony Khan hires me. He gives me a job. That's the only way I'm going to leave, if he hires me. So I will be doing my watch-alongs, but there will be a watch-along Saturday for All Out in Toronto. There will be a watch-along for that this weekend. So get ready. We're going to be in Canada for that. And they can also follow me on @CourtneyNG11 in all my social channels, because your Timeless Elite, she is taking care of business. Because if you know my day job, sometimes you just got to do some work for good. So she's going to be doing a lot of work in the couple days. Also, I do have a lot of content happening, and I do have a new series that may be happening following on certain things happening within AEW that many people may not realize, because there's a few storylines that some people are not paying attention to. So feel free to follow me on my socials. Feel free to follow me on ISPW Wrestling. We got a lot of shows happening in the fall and holiday season. Don't forget, Honey and I will be at 90s Wrestling Con later this month, and super excited because we will be chatting from stars from the 90s. Feel free to hang out with us for the day, and excited to see all of you. But yeah, Timeless Elite signing off.
You heard it. Sid, where can the people find you?
As usual, I don't want to be found. I don't want your follows. TK was served her papers earlier today, and the court of Courtney Rice will begin in short time for the CEO Wednesdays to be a long-term thing. Other than that, I will shout out the Sweetest Oos for giving me a great content idea that will bring fruition in the near future, as well as TK, as she is no longer the steward of this great network because she was reprimanded. She did give me another great content idea as well with some writing literature. So we're going to start putting together some lists for you guys. So throw me some ideas of what you want to see. Maybe it's the NXT Mount Rushmore that we can turn into some literature for you guys on WWT Talk Pod website. All types of things coming to you real soon. And of course, you can find me here Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, PLEs, Tuesdays, Thursday. It don't matter. You just know how to call me. And when you say the name, something might happen.
Oh my god.
I can't with you guys, man. I love it, man.
Can't.
I love the team that I'm a part of. I will say that. You guys can find me here every now and then, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can find me every Friday for the Honey Night SmackDown watch along. Thursdays also with my brothers Dion and Will for the Kayfabe podcast. Check out all the cool content we got going down there. And we are heading to our 50th episode, guys. We're hitting little milestones here at Kayfabe, and I'm really feeling it. So we might have something big planned for that. So make sure you guys tune in for tomorrow night. It's going to be quite fun. And all things Wrestling with Honey, Wrestling with Honey podcast on YouTube, launching 2026. And as my WWT sister just previously stated, I will be at 90s Wrestling Con with her. There's going to be a lot that we're going to be doing this time around, especially because there's a long list of superstars that we want to try to see if we grab some content with. Grab some exclusive interviews for you guys coming down the pipeline. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for that. Support my team. They do really good at what they do. So please make sure you guys are trying to get become a member and be in the super chats for WWTs After Dark. We got a lot of fun stuff there. It's pretty much where we all hang out and get the gloves off. No filters, no nothing. So make sure you guys tune in. I appreciate you all. Thank you guys for joining us. Good luck to everybody.
You're on mute.
Good luck to everybody. Said, I know this is you, but good luck to everybody on football weekend for the NFL, especially my Steelers. I pray that we have a better week than last week because that's all we got for. But other than that, guys, it's the sweetest ooze, Mayor of Vice City, and the Timeless Elite signing off of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Ciao.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.